For you to be with us tonight. I do want to introduce who is here and our counselors. And then we are going to go through a really detailed presentation, right? Because we want to make sure that you feel that you have some knowledge base, right, of our school. And then in 2 weeks, which we'll say at the end, we are inviting you onto campus, right, for our combined sixth grade family night with open house. And if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll be monitoring that chat and trying to answer as best as we can the questions that you may have. And then at the end of the presentation, also, we'll have an opportunity for questions. So once again, we appreciate very much that you are here. We're very excited to have your kids on our campus next year. And I'm just going to roll it out, and I'll start with Miss Rose. You already met. She's one of our assistant principals. And I'm going to introduce our next assistant principal, who then let's just pass it on to each other, and we can introduce each other. Next, so I'm going to introduce Miss Dose, who is our other assistant principal. We have two assistant principals. So Miss Dose, the floor is yours.
Oh, hi there, everyone. Good afternoon. My name's Francine Dos Remedios. The students call me Miss Dos. Currently, I'm the 7th grade assistant principal. I will be moving with the kids from 7th to 8th next year. So you will have Miss Rose as the 7th grade assistant principal. We're excited to have your students with us. And with that, I'll give it back to Lori.
And Miss Dose, I was going to do popcorn, where we popcorn it out and introduce the next one, but that was okay. Thank you, Miss Dose. I am going to pass it to Mr. I'm looking at my screen, Mr. Jesse Marshall. I skipped.
No worries. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to meet you. I am Jesse Marshall. I'm one of the school counselors here at Arroyo Seco Junior High School. It's so nice to meet everyone. I want to echo what was already said, and that we're really excited to welcome your incoming student to our campus. A lot of information today. Please note that we are recording this meeting, so if you don't want your beautiful faces being shown, you can go ahead and turn off that camera. Otherwise, when we post this later on the incoming 7th grade portal, just know that the entire recording will be there, and we just really appreciate you guys making the time to meet with us today. I'll go ahead and popcorn Mrs. Carson.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Libby Carson. I am one of the school counselors, and I work with students in the bottom half of the alphabet whose last names begin with O through Z. So welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. And I will pass it on to Miss D.
Hello, everybody. So great to see all of you here. I'm so pleased how many of you have come tonight. We all know that parent involvement is the key to success. We have lots of information for you this evening. I'm Sue Delantice, and I am the senior member of this team in so many ways. But I work with students whose last names begin with A through GA. And again, welcome. This is who we are. And on top of our staff here, we have a whole bunch of incredible teachers and support personnel.
Thank you, Miss D. Really, everyone, if you hear Miss D on the all call, that's exactly what it is, that energy level and all of our energy levels. So this is just really who we are. And I think that attributes to how excited we are to be here at Seco. And we know what an amazing, great place it is, and all of the amazing programs that we have for our kids, and how much care and concern that we have for our kids. So it really is a very special place. I'm not sure, I'm sorry, is this my slide?
Nope.
No, it is Miss D's slide.
Miss D, I just popped right in there. I just wanted to say that because I wanted people kind of like, are they really like, that's who they are? We really are, because we are really happy to be at Arroyo Seco. So I am sorry, I'm going to pass it back to Miss D.
Thank you. Our goals here tonight are to give you an overview of life at Arroyo Seco. We're going to share with you our teaming process, our famous rotating schedule, the basic of our 7th grade courses, some keys to success and what makes a successful junior high school student, various supports we have in place for not only our students, but for you as parents, some really cool lunchtime activities, Not sure how many cherubs are out there in the audience with you right now, but that slide's for you, including our over 20 clubs. We're going to talk about a top performing arts and video production program, and then we're going to let you know what happens next. This is me again. I get to talk about teams. This is the heart of Arroyo Seco, are our teams. And we are a school of approximately, this year we're at about 1,240 students. And instead of your student coming in to be one of 1,240 students, we put our students on teams. So that means the teachers work together with the same group of 130 to 175 students. This allows our teachers to get to know students much better, to discuss students when they meet together as a team, which students are doing well, which students need support, which students are getting into mischief, where we need to make a parent contact, or whatever the case may be. The students will share the same English, science, math, and history teachers. Those are called the core subjects of junior high. Our teams are heterogeneously grouped, meaning we don't have a smart team, a support team, a naughty team, or whatever the case may be. Everybody is mixed in together, and our teams are balanced. And finally, our teams sponsor special events, such as team days and field trips and so forth. The names that you see at the bottom are the names of our 4 7th grade teams. We have Team Fusion, Team Aloha, Team Extreme, and Team Infinity and Beyond. Okay, Miss Carson.
Okay, yeah, Miss Carson, you're up.
My turn. So I'm going to explain what our rotating schedule looks like. So the big difference from elementary school to junior high is students will have 6 subjects that are taught by 6 different teachers in 6 different classrooms. Each day starts with a different period, and we're going to be showing you a slide that makes that very clear. But basically what happens is we refer to each class period as A, B, C, D, E, and F. And the first day of the week, Monday, that's the order it goes in. But on Tuesday, you'll see that the first period moves to the bottom, and we start with B period. And it's consistent every week. So Monday starts with A, and then Tuesday starts with B period first, followed by C, D in that order. And then Wednesdays is C period first. And students will get used to that very quickly. Wednesday, it's important to note, is a late start day. So students will start at 9:10 on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. And then we'll have you look at the next slide is going to show you exactly what the rotating schedule looks like to help you understand. So as you see for Monday, we have A period first and then B period. Then we have a short break we call nutrition. It's an opportunity for students to get some food in the cafeteria, socialize with their friends, check in with their teachers. After that, we have C and D period, followed by lunch. It's a longer time to do the same of having something to eat, a chance to take a break, and then E and F period. Then you'll see on Tuesday, A moves to the end of the day, and we start with B, and then it goes in order again, B, C, D, E, F. And you see that continues throughout the week. And like I said, at first students might take a little bit of time to get used to it, but they do catch on pretty quickly. And the nice thing about this is that, you know, maybe if your child feels sleepy after lunch some days, it's good to know the classes are rotating. So they'll have an opportunity to take different classes throughout the day. So it's kind of nice to have that rotating schedule.
Hey, Mr. Marshall, you're up next.
Perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Rose. Thank you, Mrs. Carson. Absolutely. So I get to talk a little bit about the core subjects. Students at Arroyo Seco, like Mrs. Carson has said, will have 6 classes. Every student will have an English, math, science, history, PE, and a exploratory or elective class. Ms. Dealentice will talk a little bit about the exploratory and elective classes in a few slides. But I wanted to touch on the different core subjects students will be taking here at Arroyo Seco. So for English, science, and history, all students will be taking the same courses These follow the Common Core state standards for California. Math is a possible exception in that we do have an accelerated course that is offered. The Accelerated Math 7 course is a combination of the 7th and 8th grade math standards just combined.
Go read and go get ready for gymnastics, please.
Oh, and the one super fun year. So yes, the accelerated math class does move very quickly. Students in 6th grade will take a placement test. They'll take that, usually it's late April, early May. I think I got muted there for a second. That placement test will be late April, early May. And based on that placement test, we do get those scores, and students will be placed into either Accelerated Math 7 or Math 7. I know this brings up lots of questions, and I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Please know that students in Math 7 are in no way at a disadvantage of any kind. They still have a very rigorous curriculum that they're going to be engaging with, and they'll have lots of opportunities to access honors and advanced classes in high school as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I always wish I could go back to junior high and retake these classes because I really hear some great things that the teachers are doing in the classes. They really work so hard to make learning as engaging and fun as possible. And they use so many different resources. We have digital resources like Google Classroom that we'll touch on. So there's a lot of great teaching and education that happens here at Arroyo Seco, and we can't wait for your students to be a part of that. Another class that we mentioned was PE. So every student does take PE. All 7th graders will be in a 7th grade PE class, and 8th graders will be in an 8th grade PE class. But the activities are virtually the same. Students on one day of the week might participate in a running activity called Red Laps. That is one of the graded activities where they get to run around the field and build up that cardiovascular fitness that we all know and love. They'll also participate in things like stations, which are different types of circuit trainings that they'll do in the gym that we have. And then there's different types of fun activities, sports, basketball, dodgeball, volleyball, tennis, baseball. Every day they're doing some really fun things with the students to make sure that they're getting out there and being active. PE is a little different, obviously, in junior high than elementary school. Students will have a PE locker, but they will just use that locker for PE class to change out. They will not be using that locker for any other purpose. Students don't keep their textbooks with them. They stay home after you get those textbooks during our when we get the textbooks. So don't worry about your student having to lug those around. The locker and PE, again, will just be used to change out into the new the PE uniform, and then they'll go and participate with their activity. Students do change out, right, in the boys or girls locker room. So that's always something that they have a bit of a hard time with, which is understandable. Let them know that they're not changing out that first day or the second day of school, so that's not something they have to worry about right away. The PE teachers will go through some orientation activities those first couple of days, so your student does not have to worry about going to the locker room to change out that those first couple of days. Students in PE do use a combination lock. And so if they've never used a combination lock before, which many have not, we do encourage them, if you guys can get a combination lock over the summer, that's a great thing for them to practice on. They'll get a different combination lock with a different password when they start PE, but it's definitely a good way for them to get familiar with the process of unlocking that combination lock. So that's PE in a nutshell. They will have a PE uniform that that you guys can purchase during our summer check-in activities, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marshall. Miss Tice, it is back in your court.
All righty then. Everybody's favorite topic, exploratory and specialty electives. So here at Seco, we have two different programs that serve as our quote elective unquote program. We have the electives, and those are the year-long things that students may audition for or choose. They're one-year commitments, and it gives them more of an in-depth experience in a specific area. Our exploratory program is exactly that. We introduce students to, in their 2 years at Seco, 4 different exploratory classes. And the purpose of those classes is to introduce them to things they may have never thought of before in terms of likes and so forth. Students do not choose exploratories. Again, the purpose is to introduce them to things they may never have considered. What we do is try to give them something in each of the different colored areas. So we do try to give them something in a fine arts program. We try to give them something in a performing arts program, something that's more practical arts and hands-on, and something from our STEM course, such as robotics, design and modeling, and so forth. Again, those are semester-long courses. And so their first one will be first semester, and that will change again when they come back in January after winter break. 4 of those for the 2 years that they are here. Our specialty electives, those are things, again, they audition for or sign up for. We have a beginning band, which requires no previous experience, and they can just say, hey, I want to join beginning band, and boom, we'll put them in beginning band. Advanced band is by audition. We have an advanced choir, that's also by audition. Drama production is by audition. We also this year have a beginning drama, since we had so much interest in drama last year, and the students that weren't at the drama production level were placed in beginning drama. ASB is our student leadership class, and that's an interview process and so forth. You'll get more information on this at our open house night when we're inviting 6th grade parents to come in with us. Video production is our Good Morning Seco class. It's incredible. We've turned the classroom into a little mini studio. The kids write, direct, their talent, they film, they run the editing machines, they do the teleprompter, they do sound system, special effects, it's all a student production thing, and it's really a great career pathway if they have interests in television and so forth, and leads into the Saugus Good Morning Saugus production. We have a yearbook, and that's exactly what it is they put together our school yearbook, and they too need to sign up for that one. And we included podcasts down here because we're looking at making that a specialty elective. Right now, it's part of our exploratories. So not quite sure where that's going to fit in next year. We're going to take a look and see where it best fits for all of our students and so forth. But that is where students write, direct, and record their own podcasts. And I believe they come out, every 2 weeks or so? They're really a lot of fun. So once again, specialty electives, chosen, audition, try out for, year-long. Exploratories, no choice, rotating exploratories, 4 in the 2 years that they are here, attempting to get 1 in each of the different arenas.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tice. So we've heard so much about classes and teams and all the extras kids get to do here. It's really a full day for them. Ms. Carson, why don't you talk about some keys to success just to keep in mind so our students can be successful?
Absolutely. Okay, so it's a big transition going from elementary school where they are with one teacher and have a lot of supports to junior high and high school where they start to learn to be more independent. So it's really important for parents to help with that transition, to have your student be successful and independent with their work. So these are some things to keep in mind. Students will receive a binder reminder, and if you can see me in my picture, I'm holding up what it looks like. It's just a small planner, but every student will get one, and it has a calendar inside. And so each day they're able to write down what their assignments are for the day. It's something that you can ask to look at each evening to see what assignments they have in each class. Organization is a learning process, so it might take a while for your child to get used to organizing their backpacks and their folders and notebooks, but it's so important to do so they can keep track of everything. So you'll want to really be on top of them the first few months of school, checking their backpack, going through, helping them sort through loose papers. It's a great idea to have everything ready to go the night before school, so you're not rushing out the door trying to organize backpacks, water bottles, and that kind of thing. We talk a lot with students about self-advocacy, just being able to speak up for themselves and look out for their own needs. So you as parents can help coach them with that to help them try to take more control of their learning and their success in junior high. So something you can do is help them learn how to write an email to their teacher if they're unsure about an assignment or need some help, or help them feel comfortable approaching their teacher after class or during nutrition or lunch to seek that extra help. So students oftentimes need some support with that till then they learn to do it on their own. Attendance, of course, is critical. Many studies have shown there's a direct correlation between attendance and academic achievement. Now, of course, if your child is sick and they need to stay home, that's totally understandable, but you really want to make sure they know that they are responsible for making up any missing work in a timely fashion. So they should always approach their teachers or check in on any missing work and when they need to have that in. You're able to look at grades and assignments through Infinite Campus. And before the year starts, you will get an invitation to join Infinite Campus on your phone. So you can regularly check your child's progress. It'll be saying throughout the semester, throughout the quarter, how they're doing with their grades. It also can alert you to any missing assignments they have. So it's really important that you and your child together look at Infinite Campus frequently to monitor how they're doing and if they have any missing assignments. So keep all these things in mind because it can really help your child get off to a strong start in 7th grade.
All right. And speaking of a strong start, Ms. Gambaro is going to talk to us about attendance and how it's extremely important to be successful here by coming to school every day on time.
Thank you, Miss Rose. And this is huge. Now, of course, we understand, right? You know, if your student is sick, of course, we do want, right, you to keep them at home. But as we know, the data has shown, right, there's a direct correlation between being in school, right, and as far as student achievement. And so this is huge. The district's goal, as you can see, is 96% of our students attending school, which equates to no more than 7 total absences, right, in a year. So it's vital. We all know that, right? And we're just trying to prepare also for their learning in school, but also for real world stuff, right? As we grow up, I mean, as far as job and college and high school and all of that. So we take attendance very seriously. It is vital. We also understand, right, if your student is sick, that's completely different. But there are some excused absences, which include, right, illness and injury, medical dental appointments, bereavement. And so those are excused. There are many that are not excused, like, oh, you know, I woke up late or this or that. Unfortunately, it's not excused. We appreciate you calling, right, to let us know, so we know, right, what happened, because we actually really look at that. And so if we see like students possibly, you know, missing because they're not getting up in time or whatever it may be, then we have a very strong support here as far as our social worker who helps us with attendance, our counselors that are here, that will just call in the student to check, hey, what is going on, right? What can we do to get you to school, or what type of support? So we do really look at all of that, and we will call students in that have excessive absences, really to fact find to see what's going on so we can support, right, your student into getting to school. And as we know, right, it is law. We know that it is a law that our kids need to be in school. So we really, really, really appreciate your partnership with this. And if you're struggling as well, I've had some parents call us and say, I can't, you know, I'm struggling getting my student to school. We will meet, we will set up an action plan, we will set up support, because the goal is that, right, that we work with you throughout your 2 years here to support your student with the best success as possible. So thank you, Miss Rose. Next slide.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall's going to talk about what other kind of social emotional supports we have.
Absolutely. And I love that this slide for some reason has a scribble on it. Oh, there it goes. So yes, here, I think it's a perfect segue too, because Mrs. Gambaro was just talking about supports for your child. We know that adolescence is a very trying time for students for many, 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 many reasons. For families in general too. I mean, I've got 3 kids myself, and I can tell you, We've got some good days and we have some hard days too. And so please know that here at the school, we do have a lot of supports that are in place to help support you, your child, and just being successful. And success can look like a lot of different things for different people. When in doubt, we encourage families, please start with your school counselor. Myself, Mrs. Carson, Ms. Dealentice, we are very knowledgeable about the resources that students can access, and we are always going to be the best starting point. So reach out with any questions, concerns, and we will work with you every single time to figure out what's best. Some of the supports that we have, I could be specific here. We do have a wellness. Every school on the Heart District or in the Heart District does have a wellness center. Ours is called the Break Room. That was named by our students. I love the name. And it really is just that. It's an area that students can go to that's run by our amazing wellness coordinator, Miss Valenzuela. She's fantastic. The students really love her. The break room itself, we gotta get some pictures because it is just a phenomenal looking room. It's actually a classroom that was completely renovated. It looks like Glen Ivy Spa, like the waiting room. There's misters and the fireplace. That's not real. And they've got coloring books, games. They have everything in there. So the break room is a fantastic place that students can access. Typically, it's open at nutrition and lunch. If students need to use it during class time, obviously the goal is to keep students in class as much as possible. But if there's something going on that they need to step out for a few minutes and talk with someone about, we can help them out in the counseling office. The break room could be there as a support as well. And so that's an area that is open to students. A fantastic area. When we have our 6th grade family night coming up in just a few weeks, I encourage all parents to stop by the break room. It's room 504. You don't need to worry about memorizing that. You'll see it when you come here for the family night, but definitely stop by and take a look to see what it looks like. It's fantastic. Of course, school counselors, we're here to help. We really try so hard to support students academically, socially, emotionally, and help them get prepared for life with high school and beyond, with the college and the career. And so we'll work with your students if they're struggling academically. Maybe they need some help with strategies to be more successful. Maybe they're having a hard time with peers, and it's one friend in particular, or maybe they're having a hard time making friends or not quite sure what to do. We can help with that. We can talk with them, give them some skills, some tools that they can utilize. We can do mediations. We can intervene as needed. We can really provide a lot of support with the social and emotional aspect. This is a huge transition for students, probably one of the biggest educational transitions they're ever going to have coming into junior high. They're getting used to 6 different teachers with different personalities. There's over 1,200 students. It is a lot going on. And so I really want to encourage your student and you as a parent guardian to please, please, please reach out because we are here to help, okay? We can also help, like I said before, with the college and the career. We do a lot of work with the 7th graders and 8th graders. We use different programs with the college and career readiness. They'll do different activities and assessments. They'll do like career finder activities where they get to look at different matches with their personality to see what's most interesting to them. We have after school programs from time to time where they can learn a lot more, get some hands-on experiences with different career pathways. So we're always working hard to try to figure out how we can connect that learning to life and make it engaging for the students as well. And Mrs. Gambaro had talked a little bit about our social worker. We have fantastic social workers here in the Heart District. They are a support. They're support for you, for us as the school, and they want to work with you just as we all do to figure out what's the best way that we can get your child to school, help out if there's financial difficulties that we're struggling with. So please know that all of us here on the school, we just want to work with you guys to make sure that it's the best junior high experience possible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. I think this is me, actually. I get to talk about this slide. We just kind of wanted to highlight some additional supports that we have available. As you can see, we have a long list of extra things that we have available to help support you and your student. We have parent nights such as back to school night, open house. This year we have our family night, our 6th grade family night. We're combining it with open house where you guys can come early that night to have your own sort of hour on our campus. We have team and department websites. A lot of the teams are really great about having their own websites and their own way they communicate and post assignments and all of that, so everyone can be up to date in all their classes. I believe the majority of our students, teachers use Google Classroom, so that should be a very familiar resource to all of our students. I know at this point, the elementary schools do a great job with Google Classroom as well. So it should be a pretty seamless transition for our students to learn how to navigate that and to find their assignments. Infinite Campus will probably be new to you all. So it does have a live grade book feature in there. That's where you're going to find progress report grades, report card grades, attendance, and any transcripts. Infinite Campus is a great resource for students, but for parents as well. We always encourage to, set that up, go on there. You can set even alerts so you know when grades are posted for your child and when things are happening for them. Parent Square, which is new to our district this year, but I don't believe it's new to any of you. You all have been using Parent Square for a few years now, so you probably can teach us a few things about it. We are learning Parent Square, but we're having a lot of fun with it, and we are learning that it's a great way to get school-wide announcements out. Our weekly principals message that goes out on the weekends, and just teachers use it to communicate with their students and with their families. We have an official school Instagram account, Arroyo Seco Junior High. Apparently we're very competitive with our posts and all of that and followers. I don't know how many followers we have right now.
Oh, I do. We're at 850 and we just started it in January. So if everybody tonight can also get on, it would be awesome. Sorry to interrupt, Miss Rose, but I'm very passionate about this. It's really cool. It shows, there's announcements, of course, so you get more communication because we feel that you got to get communication in different outlets. So this is another outlet for you to get information. And then you see our students. You see our student life. We're going to post tonight our Teacher of the Year, which is super awesome. So I'll be posting that. So there's really a lot of cool things. If you want to go on to our school Instagram, that'll be awesome. We may get up to 1,000 after tonight,
You never know.
Never know.
Anything's possible. All right. And then teachers just do a lot of emailing to parents as well. You're also welcome to send an email to teachers. If you don't want to use Parent Square, they will accept emails, and the counselors get emails all the time too. Any questions or concerns. A lot of times, we would ask you if you do want to come in and meet with a counselor or an administrator, that you just call ahead and we can set up an appointment time so we know we have that time set aside for you.
I got to make an announcement. You guys are amazing already. We got 20 people that just joined our Instagram. That was in 1 second. I love our incoming 7th grade families. All right, sorry.
Okay, but Miss Gambaro, I do have one question in the chat about that, which we are going to come to the chat at the end. But is joining Instagram required, or will pertinent information be duplicated in Parent Square?
100%. Good question. Thank you for that. Duplicate information will be duplicated in Parent Square, absolutely. But you just won't get like the student life stuff. We take a lot of photos of what's going on campus right now. We got our ASB is very active. We have a rock, paper, scissor little competition going on, and the kids have been so into it. So, we're showing that. So you won't get the student life and the student event, like pictures and things going on, but you'll get pertinent information about what's going on at school, yes. And it will be duplicated in Parent Square.
Okay, thank you. So that clears that up. All right, counseling website. The counselors have a website that they update regularly. It has links to tutoring strategies, any kind of announcements that they're trying to get out there. That would be on their website. And our Parent Advisory Council, which we encourage you all to get involved with. They do meet every other month. And it's just parents and Arroyo Seco staff, and we meet, we coordinate volunteer opportunities. We talk about upcoming events and just ways where we can really get parent support to help with our various things going on campus. All right, next slide. This is Miss Thielentine. It's back to you for the fun.
The next 2 slides are for you, kiddos. Let the fun begin. Arroyo Seco's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility, but dang, we have some good times. Like Miss Gambaro explained this week, We had a rock, paper, scissors contest, and the kids were playing for necklaces and collecting necklaces back and forth. It was fun. We also have things like birthday bash. So the month of your birthday, we celebrate and you get your birthday surprise. We take field trips. In November, we have the Turkey Bowl, which is our football contest. It's March Madness right now, which means what? Basketball tournaments. We have a dodgeball tournament and the winning team gets to play, guess who? The Arroyo Seco teachers. And boy, I don't know who likes that game better, the teachers or the kiddos. We have a cross country meet against the other junior highs. We have a track meet against the other junior highs. And we have the Seco Olympics, usually following our fall fundraiser. We have all kinds of spirit days. You can think of it, we have it. We definitely do have a lot of fun during our lunchtime. But that's not all. Next slide, please, Mr. Marshall. In addition to that, we have clubs. All of our clubs do meet at lunchtime. These are some of the clubs we've had in the past. Everything from Science Olympiad to Coders X, to a STEM club, to filmmakers, a video game club, a chess club, anime, Conquistadors Give Back, which is a community service club. We have an authors club, trading cards, some of the ones that are this year. We have a chess club. We have a creative minds art gallery club. We have a gardening club. We even have a Percy Jackson club this year. And this one, I'm not sure what they do, but it's called Potatoes and Board Games. I'm not quite sure, but boy, it should be fun. And finally, some of our others, we have Seco Sirens, which is a singing club. We have a kickball club, and we have the Gathering of Magic, the Gathering Club. So lots to do here at lunch and even at nutrition. Fun times. Can't wait to see you here, kiddos.
You are awesome. Can I add one thing? Sorry, I want to add a couple more things that are going to start next year for any students that are involved. We will have a robotics team. We are starting that next year. And yes, as Miss D mentioned, the Science Olympiad we compete against other junior highs. And then we also have a Campus and Culture Council Club, which is a group of students that if you're interested in this, as far as getting together, as far as culture activities on campus, how can we, change our culture, improve it if we need to? It's really student voice of different culture things that we can do on campus. So there's just some new additions. Just wanted to add that in.
All right. And I think this is Miss Dose's turn. Where are you, Miss Dose?
I'm here.
All
I'm
right.
here. You guys trust me with some slides. That's good. Mr. Marshall, thank you. All right, so what happens next? This is the exciting part. How do we get this all rolling? So in May, mid-May to late May, please be looking out for an email from us. It will give you detailed information on how to complete online registration, how to submit immunizations, all the information that you need to get in the system, in the Infinite Campus system. If you're a new family to us, you will have to register for Infinite Campus. You'll have to get in there. If you're a returning family, then you're probably already a pro at it and it will be a smooth transition. So there's an online component where we gather all the information, including like emergency contacts, any health information we need, immunizations, of course. That's all online, but then we do have an in-person summer check-in, so a date to remember. Tuesday, August 6th is for our 7th graders. Monday, August 5th, we have our 8th graders checking in before 7th graders because they've been through the process. If you are a family that has both a 7th and an 8th grader, let us know like the week before and we'll get you all set up on a day to come. But on that day, on Tuesday, August 6th, your child will go through sort of a course throughout campus where they will get some information as they're wading through the lines. They'll take their ID picture, which is also the yearbook picture. So keep that in mind that they probably want to be looking good for that ID picture because it will be the picture that goes into the yearbook. You will also receive the binder reminder that Miss Carson talked about, the calendar book. They will receive their textbooks. Keep in mind, you will get textbooks that you keep at home. Books are not brought to school day in and day out. Every classroom has a class set of books. So the books you receive on summer check-in are yours to bring home and keep at home for the year. And then, of course, in May, at the end of the year, they would be returned. The ID is very important. The ID that your child gets will be used to get on campus every day. We have a scan program so that we know who's coming on campus at what time. It allows us to get a feel for how every student is as they're entering campus, which is very powerful. Student schedules, however, will not be given that day. They will be released the Friday before the first day of school. So as you can see there, the first day of school is Monday, August 12th. They will receive their schedules through Infinite Campus because you'll all be registered on the Friday right before. And that's what we have. Typically, we will open the campus Friday afternoon so that once students have their schedules, they're welcome to come onto campus to sort of navigate where all their classes will be. First day of school again is Monday, August 12th. The warning bell rings at 7:55 and then classes start at 8. If you're wondering at what time students may arrive, the gates open at 7:15 on all days, but on Wednesday they open at 8:15. And again, this will all be in writing, or they probably already are on the FAQs that you received. On the first day of school, students come onto campus. We have so many adult support staff that help them navigate to their classes. We can see if there's any students walking around, sort of looking around, we find them, we help them, we get them where they need to be. Did I leave anything out? Okay. All right. Just as you know, you were introduced to our Instagram account, but we will be posting after this presentation ends, we will be posting this recording on our school website, and you will be able to click on the yearbook video. It's a video it's about a 12-minute video from students last May. We'll be doing one again this May, but it gives you an idea of the activities that are going on throughout the year.
Okay, we've reached the question and answer portion of our forum. So I've been receiving some pretty good questions in this chat, and they've been coming to me, but I'm going to read them, and then our administrators and counselors are going to chime in and help answer some of these. So one question talks about their student who's going to be in the special ed program. Do they get placed on teams? Mr. Marshall, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we definitely have the 4th, 7th grade teams that Ms. Dielentheis had talked about before. We do have different programs attached to teams to best provide the support for your student. We will have, or you should be having some sort of matriculation meeting with us here at the Arroyo Seco. Typically those meetings are virtual, and that should be happening, Ms. Dielentheis, soon. If you have no knowledge of a matriculation meeting, I do encourage you to reach out to your child's current case manager to ask them about this. But we will definitely work with them to make sure that they get the support they need, if that's on a specific team, whatever that might look like. So we'll work individually with each child to make sure that they're placed where they should be.
Thank you, Mr.
Matriculations
Marshall.
start April 8th, Mr. Marshall. 2
April-
weeks, starting April 8th.
After spring break.
All right, we have another question from a parent who is wondering about our school's personal device policy. Ms. Gambaro, you want to chime in?
Yes, great question. I have to tell you something. It is absolutely amazing to see our kids completely, I go into classrooms a lot, engaged in learning, and at brunch and lunch, actually talking to each other because they're not on their cell phone. So when your student walks up to school or you drop them off, right when they get to the gate, once they enter our gate, it is a no phone, is a zone policy. So no phones beyond the gate. They can be put away in their backpack, must be on silent or must be turned off. Earbuds or ears also in their backpack. So as soon as they enter our gate to get checked in, and I know we mentioned the ID cards, and it's also, I just want to stress to you, the ID cards are for safety, right? We want to ensure on this campus that your students are safe at all times. So that's why having that ID card out is vital, because we want to make sure that our students, right, entering that gate every day. And as soon as they show that ID card and as soon as they cross that gate, it is a no phone zone. So we have, there's no phone, we're past the phone pockets in class, all of that. It's 0 phones on campus. And it is absolutely incredible, the productivity that I'm seeing in the classrooms, because they're fully engaged of what is going on in the classroom without the cell phone distraction, along with the earbuds. We are actually very, very serious about this. So there is not a warning. The kids, we will let the kids know also, like the behavior talks and all that. We go over that the first week, but we are very serious about that. So if the phone is out, the teacher will take it away and it will come up to our front office. And then it will get released back to the student after school on that first offense. But if it becomes the second or third time, then parent has to pick it up. We hold very strict to that policy, because we are absolutely seeing the results of our students actively involved in their coursework. And it's incredible to see at brunch and lunch and before school that kids are talking to each other. They're having fun. They're on the basketball courts. They're playing the football. They're eating. They're walking around, but they're talking and they're not on their phone.
And that does also apply to AirPods, are also sent to the office, as well as smartwatches.
Sorry, I forgot about the smartwatches. Yes.
All right, next question. We do have some questions, a couple good questions about bullying and kind of how that is handled at our school. Ms. Carson, you want to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so of course we have 0 tolerance for bullying. So it's really important that your student or you feel comfortable reaching out to us. You can always come to or reach out to the counselors or the administration, but it's very, very important that they communicate if they are having any issues with other students on campus. We are absolutely here to support them. So that's the most important thing, that they know that they need to reach out to us. And of course, we will do everything we can to investigate the problem, to help resolve any issues so that your students feel safe and supported at school.
I want to add, if I can add, thank you, Ms. Carson. We, like Ms. Carson said, we take this very seriously. Every student should feel safe and secure to be on this campus and not have to worry, right, that someone is making fun of them. I say it every day, every week on the weekly Good Morning announcements, and the kids know. And I tell this to them, it's getting better, but I'm telling you now, is entering into our school, I would like you to have this conversation with your kids. If they have a conflict with someone on this campus, I've been doing this, like so many of us in this room, for over 27 years. In all of those 27 years, not one time at a junior high or a high school campus, if a student approaches the other student about that conflict, it will end two ways: in a verbal altercation, yelling at each other, or a physical, where we intervene with both of those. But if your student comes to the office and if your student has a conflict with someone and tells us what that conflict is, we will call in the other student. We will have that mediation right then and there without the whole audience of the school. And the issue, 9 times out of 10 or 99% of the time, is resolved. And what happens is it's more safe, because when the student approaches another student on campus with that conflict, and the crowd starts to go around, and that makes it very, very unsafe. I want every single student to be safe on this campus and not have to worry about that. But I ask the parents for their support in that, to work with their kids at home and say, if you're having a conflict with someone, come to the office immediately. Or parents, I love it when you email us as well and say, my daughter or son just told me that they're having a conflict with so-and-so. Great. We will call them in and we will handle it. So I ask your support on that, because if we do it that way, we will avoid the conflict, the crowds, the unsafe environment of possibly a verbal or a physical altercation.
And Mrs. Gambaro, if I could jump in too, I just want to really reiterate too the importance of communication. Nothing breaks my heart more than when I have a parent or a child reach out to me in April about a conflict that's been present since day one. We're here to help, and we know the concerns, right? When we hear it time and time again, students will say, I didn't want to say anything, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't want to say anything, I didn't want to be a snitch, I didn't want to be labeled as a whatever it was. We are very tactful about how we approach situations. We're not going to go out there with a bullhorn. We're going to be very careful. We're going to work with your child to figure out what the best options are. We're going to work with you as well. So I wanted to just reiterate the importance of, if there's going on, let us know. It doesn't even necessarily mean we have to do something right away. If you just want to let us know, hey, this is what's going on, my child's working on it, but just be aware that this has been like a couple weeks now, that's great too. The other thing I ask for parents' help with is with your child's perception of things. And what I mean by that is, there are times often when I will have students that will come in and they'll say that they're being bullied. And when we start digging into it, it's something that happened one time with a peer they didn't even know. And it might be something very bad, right? And that's a horrible incident. But the word bullying is a very, very powerful word. And so I always ask parents, I ask students, we have to be really careful that we're using the word accurately, because a rude incident is just that, and it needs to be addressed just as bullying does. But we want to make sure that your child feels empowered, and bullying has a way of making them feel like such a victim. So that's my own kind of personal thoughts on it. But no matter what, again, just please reach out to us so we can help.
Okay, we have a question about summer school in our district and kind of what that might look like for a student. Ms. Dealentice, you want to take that one?
Sure, summer school. Summer school is primarily a credit recovery program or support program between 7th and 8th grade. So students in 7th grade who fail one class throughout the year do get placed on our summer school recommendation list. And we will reach out to you and let you know that definitely they are being recommended for summer school. Summer school is not ever held at Arroyo Seco. It's held at Sierra Vista or Placerita. So Sierra Vista's in Canyon Country, Placerita is over there in Newhall. Again, it's credit recovery. 7th graders will take math, English, and an interest class, or kind of like an exploratory class that utilizes those subjects, which are the basis for everything else. At the end of 8th grade, if a student is credit deficient, meaning they have not reached the minimum 107.5 credits needed to officially promote to high school, they will attend summer school and take junior high credits. They'll take junior high English, or they'll take an algebra support class. Or if we feel it's more appropriate, they will take a CTE exploratory course, which in fact will give them high school credits. The only get ahead credits that are available between 8th and 9th grade at this time is a 2.5 credit health class. Incoming students, summer school is by permission only, and it's based off the math placement test, and it is run and invited by our district. We do not have anything to do with incoming 7th grade summer school. Ms. Carson, do you have anything to add? Ms. Carson is an administrator at summer school last year.
No, I think you covered it pretty well, but feel free to reach out to your counselor if you have more questions.
Okay, there's a quick question about lunches. Will they still be provided for free to all students? I believe that answer is yes. As far as we know, that will continue for next year.
Mrs. Rose?
Yeah.
One of the things I think can be helpful for students is those first couple of days, because we have so many students, the cafeteria can be a little bit chaotic, especially because the cafeteria workers themselves are trying to get used to setting things up again. So one of the recommendations I do have is for students, if they can maybe bring their lunch the first day or two, it just gives them one less thing to have to navigate through as far as the cafeteria line, because that line can be relatively long and we only have a 35-minute lunch period. And I know students want to spend that time with their, friends that they're getting to meet up with, finding out what their next couple of classes are. So just one encouragement is to consider bringing a sack lunch, as they call it, those first couple of days. But the cafeteria food is quite delicious too.
All right, thank you, Ms. Marshall. We have some questions about our summer check-in happening in August. Some parents would like to know about how much time should they be setting aside for check-in. I believe usually like an hour maybe, right, to get through it all. Would you guys agree with that? And
it depends on if the immunizations are ready to roll, if they can go, if all that's up to date, it moves quickly. If that's missing, that really is a holdup.
Yes, so if you have everything in and you're ready to go, I would give yourself maybe an hour for the whole process. If you're missing immunizations, that does require a separate step where you have to do some computer inputting on the spot there and making sure all the immunizations are current. And usually it's a half-day event, so your time is usually in a, would you say 4-hour window, 5-hour window? Everyone, yeah? We good with that? Okay. Are parents able to attend summer check-in? Of course, we love to see you and meet you and answer any questions you have there as well. So yes, parents, please come. Although I know not all the kids want their parents to go with them, but we love to have you there. Okay. There are some questions. School always ends at 2:25. Is there a way to know if we are missing anything regarding registration or if we are all set? That's a great question. Throughout the summer, if you are missing things, you will get regular emails from us. So just pay attention to that, where it'll say your online registration may not be complete or there may be things missing. Does anyone want to add to that? Is that pretty good? Let's see. Signing up for beginning band. Yeah, we have some elective questions.
I can share that on the incoming 7th grade portal, and that is on the Arroyo Seco website under quick links and also under the students tab at the top of the it's also the QR code that everyone should have received on the flyer that was sent home earlier this quarter. So anyway, on that incoming 7th grade portal, there are links to each specialty electives website. And on those websites, you will see all the information about the application process, what the class is. Not all teachers may have their applications up and running yet, but they might or they should have their information posted as to when to expect those applications will be made available. So definitely, please look at that incoming 7th grade portal on the Arroyo Seco webpage. Again, it's under quick links and it's also under the students tab at the top.
In addition, Mr. Fullerman, our music person in CNN, Good Morning Seco person, along with Miss West, our drama production and choir, will be here on that 6th grade night, as will Miss Mraz and Mrs. Steve for yearbook. Those year-long specialty elective teachers will be here for you to meet with and talk with. And I believe, Miss Gambaro, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're going to meet in K Hall as a group. So
Yes, correct.
one. Yes.
So thank you for that. So for the 6th grade family night, we'll have the welcome at 5 o'clock in our quad. We'll have some welcome, some announcements. You'll see some performances from our band and choir. And then at 5:30, those of you interested in learning more about those electives will be in our MPR or K Hall. Or if some of you want to tour and go into classrooms, you can do that from 5:30 to 6. So you'll have those options.
All right, thank you. And then we have another question about the year-long electives. Just to clarify, these are classes during the school day, so it's part of their schedule. It's part of their rotating schedule. That was a good
can we add, Mr. Marshall, can you talk about, yes, thank you for that, Ms. Rose, and then talk about our CTE pathways after school, like some of those options that are available throughout the year.
Definitely. Yeah, we work really well with the district office. They have a lot of resources that they connect to all the different schools. So for example, for the 8th graders, for this past couple of weeks, we had an after-school health and medical technologies academy where 8th graders were able to stay after school on 6 consecutive Thursdays for about an hour and a half. It's a long time for their students, but they did so good with it. And I think a big part of it had to do with the fact that we had these amazing career industry professionals come in to speak and work with our 8th graders who are interested in learning more about health and medical industry and the pathways, and careers that fall under that. One week they worked with they worked on dentistry and they had molds that they were able to make impressions from. Another week they had a retired detective come and they had what's like a fake person? What do they call that? Someone help me out. What was it?
A dummy?
A dummy. Thank you, Miss Tozer. They had a dummy, and so they were doing things with the gurney to transport them and teach them that. I got it. So it was a lot of great things that they got to do with the 8th graders. We try really hard to have opportunities for both 8th and 7th graders. We make sure to push out that information about those opportunities to parents, guardians, to students via the various channels we mentioned: Parent Square, email, Good Morning Seco, the morning announcements. You can also reach out again to school counselors if you have questions. Like, hey, I heard about you guys mentioning after school classes up and running right now. So you can always ask us. It's some really great opportunities for the students. I should add, though, that we don't have typically anything else structured after school. So a lot of parents might ask, do you have any kind of after school, like daycare or anything like that? We don't. Sometimes the library might be open after school for a little while, but for the most part, school day ends and we say goodbye to all the students.
And then just to add that the only things that would be after school right now, the theater is rehearsing for Aladdin the musical. And I encourage you guys to check our website if you'd like to come to attend. It's going to be in April and we'll post that flyer soon about Aladdin. So right now, like you said, the only things after school, Aladdin, and then music and band and orchestra is after school sometimes as well too, practicing.
All right. We have some really good questions coming in. Okay, regarding the phone, what do students do if they bring their phone? Of course, they're allowed to bring their phones to school. They just have to be in their backpacks. So yes, we expect most of them do have phones on them. They just need to be in their backpacks, not in their pockets or anywhere else. We have a question about a 504. Ms. Dealentice, you want to take this one? If my child has a 504, should we be meeting before school starts?
Excellent question. I would love to hear about that. No, only pre-meetings that we have are for special education students. 504s are for students that are in the general education program that just need minor supports within the classroom. 504s written at elementary school are for elementary school. I need to say that more and more and more. If the elementary school is writing a brand new 504 in May, that is for elementary school. It is not for junior high school. Every time your child changes a school setting, a 504 plan needs to be reviewed and reevaluated. What our process is we get all of the 504s from the elementary school. We also encourage you, if you have a copy of that 504 and want to get it to us ahead of time, that's great. Maybe on that family night that we're having, that's fine. But what we do is once we have a copy of all those 504s, we take a look at your child's schedule. We make all teachers aware that in elementary school, your child had a 504 plan and these were the accommodations. Then in about 3 to 5 weeks is when we actually reach out to you. We can't reach out earlier because we have to see what it is your child needs. Not the things that are needed in elementary school are often very different than the things that are needed in junior high school. For example, we get a lot of incoming 504 plans that have brain breaks in there, for example. Our students have natural brain breaks during the day. It's every 48 to 50 minutes, they're getting up and changing classrooms. And that is most of the time, 99% of the time, the students don't need that one, okay? But they may need something else that they didn't need in elementary school. So in order for us to best support your student, we need to know your student first. So after the 3 to 5 weeks, we reach out to you. And we set up what we call 504 meeting with you. We'll talk with your child. We may have your child in the meeting and 1 or 2 teachers from the team. And we will review appropriate accommodations with you. We'll discuss them. What are you seeing at home? What the teachers are seeing in class and so forth. Then probably about the semester time, we may touch base with your child again and see if they are utilizing the supports. If they are not utilizing the supports and doing well, that tells us those supports are not needed, okay? And we will reevaluate that once again. A 504 plan is fluid. So a student who comes in and let's say is doing well, 7th grade, we pull them from the 504 and then all of a sudden 8th grade comes, the rigor increases and they're like, oh, I need somebody to support with notes. They're not keeping up. Then we can write that 504 again, so you don't have to panic if we take it away. It's very fluid. Or if we take one accommodation away, we decide that, oh, no, he or she really needs it. So it's a very fluid plan. But again, please don't panic if you don't hear from us right away. We do also address students on a health medical 504 plan. For example, our students with diabetes, our students with Tourette's, our students with those kind of issues first. And students with issues such as attentional issues and so forth, those are second on our list, okay? So again, if your student has something which are minor, when we're looking through the accommodations, minor academic supports, the teachers already know. They were on a 504, they're on the teachers' radars, they're keeping their eyes up on those particular kids. We will reach out to you. But a student with diabetes or a student who has a seizure disorder of some sort, we need to get those plans written right away. So those come first, and then the academic support plans. So is there more questions on 504s, Ms. Rose? That I know that's
I think that was really the only one. I mean, we do have a lot of questions on here about special ed and IEPs. I think Mr. Marshall kind of answered that in the beginning, that everyone will be meeting regarding that.
Yes.
And so everyone's specific case will be handled during those meetings, correct?
Yes, that's the time to discuss the special ed questions.
Yes.
I'll have a one-on-one with either a counselor or an assistant principal or Ms. Gambaro in the meeting with them. So
absolutely. Okay. There's a lot of questions just about the summer check-in. If you can't make the date, that August 6th date, we do have a makeup date. And that I believe, Ms. Dose, do you know when, is it the
August 9th? Is that Friday?
Yeah.
August 9th?
Okay. August 9th. That Friday will be a makeup day. So if you can't make it on the 6th, you are
Sorry, yeah, I'll
back.
get, yeah.
The applications for all the year-long electives, those are opening, those are not quite open yet, correct?
Some of them might be, some of them might not be. Yeah, it's all on the incoming seventh grade portal. So in that webpage, there'll be links to every single specialty elective. And on those links, we'll be able to see whether or not the teachers have posted their applications yet.
Yeah, some are not up to date yet, so don't worry about that quite yet. The teachers are still working on that. We have some questions about accelerated math. The test results come, it'll be a while. I mean, they haven't taken the tests yet even, correct, Mr. Marshall?
That's correct. Yeah, we typically get the results late May, and district office will get the results first. Similar to the invites for summer school, it's not something that we are informed about directly at first. It's the district office that gets that information. And then they use a formula to determine students that are going to be invited to the accelerated Math 7 class and students that will be invited to the Math 7 class. A couple things to throw out there. If your child makes it into the accelerated Math 7 class, you can opt them out and have them do Math 7. I would say every year we probably have a dozen, maybe even more parents that will email the counselor saying, my child got an accelerated math, but I prefer them to take Math 7. And there's a reason for that. And because I really don't want to understate, it's a lot of work. This is 2 years of math curriculum combined into 1 year. Students can expect approximately 45 minutes of math homework nightly, in addition to the other homework that they're getting in their classes, which could range from 15 minutes to 30 minutes for every other subject. It's a substantial amount of work in the accelerated Math 7 class. You know your child best, and if you have questions about the results, the placement, again, please reach out to us as school counselors. You will get a letter. You should get a letter from the district office. Typically, that gets sent out late May, letting you know your child's placement in either Math 7 or accelerated Math 7. So I hope that answers some of the questions. Yeah, if not, let me know.
All right. We have a question about after school programs. We don't currently have after school programs other than occasionally when those CTE programs get offered. Those are usually after school for a little bit. That is by application, though. Otherwise, we don't have like an organized after school program.
No, just through the specialty electives, like Mrs. Gambaro was saying, through things like drama production, or even maybe band will have after school practice. But that's only for the students in those specialty electives.
Okay, we have some parent questions about registering to be volunteers, and it requires live scan and fingerprinting. Do we offer any kind of financial assistance with that? I think sometimes I think it's just, it depends, correct? I don't think we have a system for that.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be a question for our office manager. She'd have to reach out to the district. I'm unaware of a system for that, but I think we can take those case by case because we really would like, parent volunteers. So if that is an issue to pay for the live scan, it would be them calling the school, talking to Rachel and seeing what we can do for that.
Okay. And then, yes, Parent Square will still be used as the communication system for us. Does Arroyo Seco have a designated area and drop-offs and pickups for driving service? Basically Uber for kids. Does anyone want to answer that? I mean, it's the same system where going through our valet line before and after school would be the same drop-off system.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a special, because to be honest with you, we have 1,240 kids and our parking lot is actually pretty small. So we don't have it designated for Uber. They would just come through. You'll see the flow. They would just come through, like the parents come through in the car, drop off, and then just exit out. We have that flows in front of the school.
Choir. There are no tryouts for choir, correct?
There are yes, there are actually for the advanced choir.
For advanced, but not the beginning.
Currently, we only have advanced.
Yeah,
for the music. Okay, yeah. So advanced choir, there are tryouts.
Mrs. Rose, did we talk about the bus system? Hey, Ms. Dos Remedios, do you want to share out regarding the bus transit system and how that works?
Yeah, no problem. So we do have, I believe, 6 different bus routes that service the neighborhood that bring kids to Arroyo Seco. If you go to the Santa Clarita Transit website, you can find all the different routes on that. I believe the ride costs $1. You can also apply for a tap card, which gives you a better deal. If we have all of that information here in the office as well. So, but the Santa Clarita Transit website would give you all the different routes to see if, you know, a bus perhaps passes by your neighborhood with a close stop to your house.
All right, very good. Okay, break between classes is 5 minutes. Students get a 5-minute passing period between classes, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is plenty of time for them to get to class. There is, oh, somebody's asking about detention. Yeah, I mean, there is detention, right? If they, most of the time it happens if they end up in the office with one of the assistant principals, it a lot of time ends in detention as a potential consequence. We also have campus beautification that we assign for students for during other times. So yeah, we do have all of that. Sports programs. Hey, Miss Gambaro, you want to talk about our sports?
Hey, I do. What's going on right now? So, as you know, right, the junior highs don't have official sports like the high schools, but we have intramurals. So, cross country is one that is through the PE classes, and it's during the school day they compete against the other junior highs. We've had lunchtime intramurals. We just finished a basketball intramural during lunch, and then currently, right now, we had tryouts for our junior high intramural basketball team, boys and girls, that they're the ones actually practicing after school. That junior high tournament will be April 13th on a Saturday, which all the junior highs compete against each other. And this year we have brought in Saugus High School, which is awesome. We have the high school students, the captains from the boys and girls teams at Saugus that are coming down to coach our kids, which has been amazing. Our kids are just look up to the high school kids coaching, and it's been a really awesome experience. So we just have different intramural sports, and that will happen either during the school day, it'll happen through the PE class during the day that they'll go and compete against the other junior highs. And the only one on Saturday so far is the basketball one that is currently going on right now.
Okay.
Which is posted on Instagram. I posted the boys and the girls practicing. Let me tell you something. We're almost up to 900 views because of you guys. Thank you. We're gonna hit 1,000. That was my goal by June.
Okay, let me see. We actually only have a couple more. Someone was asking about getting information mailed. I don't believe anything's coming in the mail. Everything will come over email. Correct? Mr. Marshall, were you talking about email?
Yes.
Okay.
If I said mail, I meant email.
Yeah, and especially all like the summer check-in information that will come through in email. You'll get a ton of attachments, and we do a lot of digital, you know, all the forms are going to be digital for the most part, so you'll be able to easily fill that out.
Look at that. We're doing great on time. We had 9 minutes. We're doing fantastic.
I have some other questions here. Hold on.
Ms. Rose, you're doing fantastic.
How much time do I have in between classes? We said 5 minutes, right? So if someone didn't register at their elementary school, Ms. Carson, do they just go to school to pick up a registration form? Do you have an answer for this? Or do we not know? Or Miss Gambaro or Miss Dose?
I would contact Miss Goldie, our
Yeah.
registrar.
I would contact our registrar to get the registration process started.
I agree. Yeah.
There's been some questions about advanced classes currently, and I think we touched on the accelerated math. That's currently our only advanced class that we offer, other than chorus, right? Electives.
Yeah, the only, for the core classes, the only advanced class that we have is the accelerated math 7 classes. Students' performance in 7th and 8th grade will determine their placement into high school honors and AP level classes. And that's something that we work with 7th and 8th graders, so they're very knowledgeable about how these grades they're earning right now impact their future choices and decisions. But for incoming 7th graders and for our 8th graders, the only accelerated class for the core classes is the math class. For English, science, and history, there is no accelerated classes for those.
Okay, and so this is a big question that our students are always nervous about. What happens if they get lost? And I know parents of incoming 7th graders, I know I've been there, like you're really worried that your child is going to be wandering around, like freaking out, right? So what happens if they get lost? Do they really get lost? Does anyone want to take this?
I'm
I
gonna
can
take
take
part
it.
of it. I'll think, and then you guys can add on. Let me tell you something. We have the best exceptional campus supervisors, and all of us are out there. It would be so, and I understand too the nervousness of it, right? And that's why I think it's important when you guys summer come onto campus, you can see it, right? We are all out there, and when the bell rings or when we're seeing kids, we'll all go up. I'll say, "Where are you going? Do you know where you're going? What's going on?" I think it would be tremendously difficult. I cannot believe that any student would be lost because there's so many adults out there looking around and making sure that everyone is in a classroom, or if they need support, if they need to go to the office or the health office. So, and I understand your concern, but and anyone can add on after me, but we're so strong at that on supervision that I would be shocked, I would be shocked, right, if someone was lost.
Yeah, and I will add, just at the start of the school year, you want to make sure to print out your student schedule or have them write it down somewhere. In the past, students could pull out their phones and look it up if they were going from class to class and weren't sure of the room number and that kind of thing. And since students can't have their phones out, it is important that they have a printed copy of their schedule where they have those room numbers and their schedule written down. If a student, for any reason, isn't sure what their next class is, they can just come up to the office and we'll be happy to get them a new copy of their schedule and point them where they need to go. So yeah, don't worry at all. They're in good hands with all of us.
Yes, and then we do have some questions also about kind of PE and what happens in there. There's been a couple questions about lockers. They do get lockers in PE, but not during the school day. Students at summer check-in will get, oh, I got like a bug flying around here. Students at summer check-in will get a set of books for them to keep at home. And every classroom is equipped with a class set of books. So students are not expected to be carrying their books kind of back and forth. I mean, there's some things, I think math might use some consumable type materials that kids may bring back and forth, but the object is that they're not, lugging a giant, book bag around. So they don't have lockers, but they do have them in PE. They do have a locker in the locker room there where they will change basically every day. Does anyone want to add to kind of what happens in PE?
Sure, I can. PE grades are divided into 3 different areas. The first area is participation, and that's exactly what it says. Is your child dressed and ready to participate, and do they participate? The second area is their fitness area, and that's based on their timed runs, their stations, and things like that. And then the third area is the classwork area, and that's where they have a quarterly project. Usually it's focusing around a health topic of some sorts. It's not complicated. Sometimes they'll do like a pickleball quiz or something about when they're explaining the rules of the sport or something along that line. But those are the 3 basic areas where students are graded. I do want to say that PE grades do affect grade point averages. That's often a question. You know, it's part of the requirements from the state of California, and they do have PE all the way through 10th grade.
And Miss D, while you're at it, PE, is there a special lock they're gonna need for the locker?
Like Mr. Marshall mentioned earlier, all the PE locks are combination locks, those old-fashioned face locks where you have to turn to the right, then to the left, then to the right. And the suggestion that he made is a great one. If your child has never opened that kind of a lock, if you go to the Dollar Tree or something, the dollar store, and get a combination lock, just so they can get a feel of that, that will bring their stress level way down. They cannot use that specific lock, but they will be given that same lock. Now, let's say your child continues to have issues with the lock. As a last resort, if that is just not working for them, we can provide a key lock as long as a key is provided to the male PE teachers for boys and the female teachers for the girls. But they do use a combination lock, and I know those aren't used as often for bike locks and things anymore, so it might be worth a trip to the dollar store just to bring that anxiety down.
All right,
You guys are doing amazing. Miss Rose, I'm just checking the time. We got a couple more minutes, I know. These are awesome questions. So thank you. Anything else, Miss Rose? Any more questions?
just I was gonna end with one last question. I know we didn't get to all the questions. I apologize for that. These were really great questions, and I hope that everyone kind of got something out of it. Even if you didn't ask the question, it helped to clarify things. We do have the counselors, emails up there if you have more questions that didn't get answered, and you're welcome to email any of us, any of the administrators. The last question, though, I wanted to just sort of touch on is there's a lot of questions about homework. So, and what can they expect for home? I know it's not like an exciting question to end on, but we're going to end on homework.
Yeah.
So, who wants to take the homework question?
I can share just a little bit. I want to start by saying that all the teams are equitable in regards to how much homework is assigned. I've heard from different students that the same team has the most and that same team has the least amount of homework. And so a lot of it has to do with how well the student is able to utilize the class time. Teachers work really hard to give class time on a regular basis so that students can work on their classwork, get started on homework if there is homework. We often find that if students are struggling with the quantity of homework, it's due to their class time not being utilized as well as they can. So it's really important that when your child's in the classroom, making good use of that independent work time where the teacher's rotating around helping students, encourage them at home as well, when they're in school, that if they have that time, make good use of it. If I had to give like an estimate, I would say maybe approximately 20 minutes, give or take 25 minutes or so for each core subject. And that might not necessarily just be homework, but that might be time organizing their binder, getting ready for an upcoming notebook check, studying and preparing for an assessment, working on a long-term project. They might not have daily homework from one day to the next every day, but there is something that they can work on. One of the best things I think you could do as parents and guardians is help them have a set time that they're working on their schoolwork every day. And don't let them get out of that set time. And so let's say it's from 3 to 4:30. No matter what, they don't get their phone or their technology or their outside time until 4:30, even if they say they're all done. The best thing they could do is, okay, sounds like you're all done with your homework. That's great. Why don't you go through and organize your backpack? Why don't you look at Infinite Campus to make sure there's no missing assignments? Take some time to study for that upcoming quiz. Look at Google Classroom to make sure that we're up to date with upcoming announcements, whatever it might be. So really work with your child to have that set time. And even if they say that they're done with their homework, I highly encourage you, don't let them get out of it, because that's encouraging them to some degree to say they're done when they might not actually be done. Once they know that no matter what, they have to work during that time, they'll find something productive to do. Again, it could be organization, getting ready for upcoming things. I see that bug is still accosting Miss Rose over there. So those are some suggestions I have in regards to the homework. And it really does differ just depending on how well students use the time. But Miss Tice,
I got two more real quick things on that. Number one, I would advise that you do not let them do their homework in their room with their door closed. With that, so many students have so much technology in their room that they're telling you they're spending 3-4 hours on their homework. They're on different sites. I promise you, they're on different sites and utilizing technology or chatting or whatever. Two, Mr. Marshall made a great point about taking away the phone during homework time. That is a major distractor. It will take them half the amount of time if they don't have their phone in front of them. That is a big thing as well. And then finally, you know your child best. If they struggled with homework in elementary school, start out strong, mom and dad. Start out strong. If he comes home or she comes home with their reminder filled out, don't take their word that they're done. Let me see it. I'm curious. What are you studying history? Show me your completed math sheet. Don't just have them say, hey, did you do your homework? Yeah, it's done. No, please actually see the actual work completed and then watch them put the work in the correct folder and then into the backpack. Are the quickest way that students struggle with junior high. It's not that they can't, it's the organization piece, or they're not turning in or completing the assignments. So please, please, please start out strong. You got this.
Counselors, those are amazing, amazing recommendations. That's why I kept putting my thumb up. That was beautiful.
All right, everybody. Yeah, you want to wrap it up, Ms. Gambaro?
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you so much. We always also want to respect time. I know we had said an hour and a half, so we want to respect time. If you still, and I know you will, and it's fantastic if you do, no problem. Please email us if you have any more questions. Our biggest thing is to reduce any kind of anxiety and stress you may have. This is a huge jump. We know that. We know this is a huge transition between 6th and 7th, and we are very mindful and want to make it very, easy and smooth for you, for your kids. So please email us if you have any questions that we didn't answer or other questions that come up. And then if not, we will see you on March 28th at 5 o'clock for our 6th grade family night. That one we combined it. So just so you guys know, 5 to 6 are our 6th graders, our incoming 7th graders, right? You guys. And then from 6:30 to 7:30 are our current kids. So we just divided that time for traffic, for parking. So we will see you guys at 5 o'clock on March 28th. You'll walk in, you'll see it. It'll be in our outside quad area. Like I said, we'll do a welcome. We will have music and theater perform. We'll have some announcements. And then any families that want to go and see band and theater and our year-long electives, yearbook, ASB, if you want any more info on that, that will be in our NPR. And then other families that want to tour any of our classrooms, that will be from 5:30 to 6. And our cafeteria will be open from 5:30 to 6, giving out some snacks, because I got to tell you, I agree, Mr. Marshall. Every time I see that food, I see the students, I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Our food really is very good, legitimately very good. So I want to thank you for your time. We are so glad you came. We're so excited to see you next year. We'll see you on March 28th, and please email us if you have any additional questions. And counselors and APs, thank you so much for everything that you did tonight.
And one thing really quickly, because people are asking, we are going to post the link to the recording on our website. If you go to arroyosecojuniorhigh.org, go under students to incoming 7th grade students, you will see the recording. You will see this presentation, everything you need. You will see more than you need is going to be right there.
And keep on the Instagram. I think we're up. You guys will see a lot on that too. I saw so many of you join, and so we'll have a lot of information on that. All right. Have a good evening. Thank you all. Have a safe evening.